Hi, my name is Jacob Jarding, and I research government surveillance. And while I was reading the stimulus material, Francine Prose's article stood out to me. It made me wonder how much we were being watched and controlled by the government. This was further developed after viewing the work of art by Banksy. Both of these things put together really made me question how secure our personal data is and how deep government surveillance is. After a small amount of time, I found a program run by the NSA named PRISM. The program is said to have taken millions and millions of people's personal data, and they have been used by the government to help prevent terrorist attacks and plots. This led me to the question, to what extent does a PRISM program impact U.S. citizens? Through my research, I found that the PRISM program heavily impacts U.S. citizens due to the fact that the personal data is potentially being looked at, but at the same time it has helped save the lives of many Americans. One upside of the program is it helps prevent terrorist attacks and therefore saves Americans' lives. The PRISM program was enacted under the George W. Bush administration and renewed under the Obama administration. The two are of different political parties, Bush being Republican and Obama being Democrat, which in turn mean they have different views. Although they both have different views, they both agree that the program is helpful in the fact that it saves Americans' lives. The more plots the government prevents, the more lives that are saved. Obama does point out that the program does collect personal data, but they are not looking into your phone calls. He points out that the program does have trade-offs, one of which being the privacy issue. Even though the PRISM program can prevent terrorist attacks against the United States, the current regulation of the program is flawed and in need of improvement. Jim Sensenbrenner, the primary author of the Patriot Act, states in his article that Obama said everyone in Congress was briefed on the program, but says he never was himself. Other members of Congress have also said they were never briefed on the program. Sensenbrenner states that there were 17 provisions to the Patriot Act to prevent unrestrained surveillance, and adds that the Patriot Act was never intended for daily spying, like the Obama administration is said to be doing. Being that he knows that there are problems with the program, the biggest one being that there shouldn't be businesses involved in government surveillance. He uses the businesses to enable mass collection of data of U.S. citizens, immigrants, and even some foreigners. It is never right for a government to be taking personal data without consent or legal documentation. Also, if the government does get it passed, the citizens should know of data collection. They don't need to know all the details, but they should at least know that they're having data being collected on them. While there are two sides to every story, there are a lot of questionable things about the PRISM program that make it suspicious. Larry Page, CEO of Google, a company who is said to be part of the program, claims that Google has never leaked any information. Days after Edward Snowden leaked the information about PRISM, Page sent out a letter via Google blog to all of the Google users. He states that he was never part of any government program that would allow direct access to their servers. Then he says the government doesn't have any backdoor into their servers. Either all the documents are false, Larry Page is lying, or the government has a secret backdoor that even Google doesn't know about. It's most likely that Page isn't telling the full truth in his statements, and this can be proven with the help that the slides that were released, and also many government officials have acknowledged the program, but state that they don't just spy on citizens. While there is a small possibility that the slides are fake, or that the government has a secret backdoor, it's highly unlikely due to all the evidence that points to the existence of the program. Also, there's no way Google would be unaware of such a large backdoor that allows a massive amount of personal data to be taken. Some data collection that's said to be happening is out of control and blatantly crosses the boundaries set in the Patriot Act. Verizon is said to be the leading company in PRISM, and they have produced electronic copies of all detailed records created by Verizon for communications between the United States and abroad. This is a whole new and unacceptable level of data collection compared to what Google is said to have done. This means that every call in or out of the U.S. is being sent straight to the NSA by Verizon. Judge Roger Vincent, who signed the FISA court order to collect data from Verizon, stated that the FISA court orders are special court orders that have to do with data collection and are related to the Patriot Act. This goes completely against what is stated in the Act, though, like what Sensenbrenner said. The Patriot Act say that FISA court orders are only used for a finite set of individual targets. What Verizon said to be doing isn't finite at all. They are all taking phone calls from coming through their company, send them straight to NSA. This is wrong and a prime example of what Sensenbrenner is talking about. Now, there are a few upsides of the Patriot Act. That doesn't mean there are flaws in it. One proposition is to repeal the Patriot Act. This is possible, but highly unlikely due to the fact that it would require a vote by Congress and also need the president to sign off and on it as well. Obama would never repeal the act due to his fact that he sees it as crucial and important to national security and war against terrorism. Now, the act may be questionable, but there's no doubt it has helped save the lives of Americans, but that doesn't mean there aren't problems with the act. My recommendation to helping the abuse of the Patriot Act, like what Verizon is said to have done, is to add a rider to the act. A rider is simply a provision to a legal document. This rider would not allow for a mass collection of data, like the mass collection Verizon has said to have done, to happen. It won't take away it won't take away the collection of data, but it needs to be more like what the Patriot Act was meant for, which are a finite set of individually set targets. This will ensure that the mass collection of data, of personal data of millions, won't be in the hands of the government again. And adding a rider will take a good amount of time, and there's a possibility of not being passed at all. The amount of time depends how long it takes to be written, how fast it is passed or vetoed, and also riders can be completely shut down if the president vetoes it. If the rider can be written fast enough and the Congress and passed in Congress in time for Obama to vote on it, he can easily say no, so he can continue his program that he sees as crucial to national security. On the other hand, if it takes long enough, or if Congress waits for President-elect Trump to take office, there's a high possibility for it to get passed due to Trump's view on the government surveillance.